Welcome, everybody. Joe Tarnowski with ECRM here today, and my guest is Paul Adrian, founder and CEO of Mojo Skin Hair, which participated in our European Personal Care Program and was a Buyer's Choice Award winner. And not only that, within days of their meeting with Ideal World, they struck a deal and were actually on their shopping TV show. So, Paul, thank you so much for joining us. And to get started, could you give us an overview of your company and the products that you sell?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Joe. Great to see you. So Mojo Hair is a premium men's grooming and styling range. We currently have 4 products in the range that go across most men's hair types. But what's different about us is that it's a pro salon range, which we've fused with a luxury fragrance. And as many of your viewers will know, that not many men's hair products actually smell that nice. So hence, that's why we've got the luxury fragrance in it. And then combining it with the pro salon makes us really different, because I'm not targeting the salon market. The gap that I spotted in the global marketplace was for a premium men's range that was an affordable luxury. And that's really where we've targeted and had all of our successes in the sort of last 2.5 years.
Excellent. And where are you currently distributed now?
So we're currently in about 3,000 stores globally with 4 products. Mm-hmm. So in the UK, we're with Sainsbury's and Waitrose, and we're on Amazon, and obviously Ideal World. And then in Australia, we're with Woolworths and Coles, and we're in Countdown in New Zealand. And then part of my sort of plan for the coming year and why I was at ECRM is looking at the Nordics, Europe, and then hopefully get into the States in the latter part of 2021.
Okay, and tell me about the origin of the company, and what are the key trends that kind of prompted the development of your product line?
Okay, so my background was I was director of a brand called King of Shaves. So I'd been involved in the sort of cosmetic health and beauty industry. And prior to that, I was in the advertising industry for 25 years, where I owned and ran a number of successful advertising agencies. And over that time, I actually became more and more interested in the products that my clients were making, rather than the campaigns that I was creating for them. And so I was lucky enough to join King of Shaves, was their global sales and marketing director. And then I spotted this gap in the market. And as you can see, I've got a lump of hair, and I couldn't find any products in the marketplace that actually maintained and controlled my hair. And obviously, analyzing the category as I was working in it anyway, I spotted that there hadn't been any innovation in the category for 15 years. The most of the products seemed really Me Too-ish. And so I thought, okay, where's the real gap here? And in the female sector, there's been lots of innovation. In fact, there's so much of it, it's fantastic. However, in the men's section, there hadn't been that much. And what I saw in the women's section was there was a lot of affordable luxury going on. And so I decided that I would try and create an affordable luxury product that would go in as the premium part in the category, because there's just no point going in low. You'll be blown out the water by, all the big guys. So currently, like in Sainsbury's in the UK, we are the only private brand in the category, and we're the premium brand in there. So we'll have in their stores, we've got 6 facings, so they double up everything. And we're at £10. And then our nearest competitor is £8. So that means that when we go into a 20% off promo, we're still cutting into our competitors and gaining trial. So it's a really nice strategy to have. Obviously, it's great to be listed, but you've got to get in there. But I actually created the product. I was messing around with a number of pro salon products, and I had a particular product on, and my wife came into the room and she said, "What is that disgusting smell?" And I thought, well, I've just spent, $30 on this pot of hair stuff. And what it is that a lot of the men's hair products smell of that barbicide, which is that smell of the sort of clinical, clean, but it's what you get in a barber store. And she just, as she was leaving the room, said, "I don't know why you don't wear something like your aftershave." And I then went, oh man, what a great idea. What a great idea that would be. So I went off to a chemist, fragrance house, and the chemist at the manufacturer, and gave them a brief of trying to create a pro salon range with a luxury fragrance in it. And so we messed around for it took about 3 or 4 months, because you've got to get the stability of the product correct. And we created it, and it worked. And I tried it myself for a number of months. And then I put together a presentation, and just a PowerPoint presentation, and emailed it out to a number of the retailers here in the UK, like the Hut Group and Ocado. And literally within half an hour of sending the PowerPoint out, I got a reply saying, "Can you come in and see us?" Because what we've also done is that I should mention is that we're in a premium gold and black jar that features a sort of retro twist design, which is based on my love of Blue Note jazz cover albums from New York. And obviously we've got a great name, Mojo, which I've trademarked around the world. And so what we're trying to do for guys is give them back their swagger, their attitude, and keep their hold, make them look good and feel good and smell good all in one go at an affordable price. And was lucky enough to send through the presentation, get a great response, went in to see these 2 retailers, and I had some samples made, and they literally gave me the orders there and then.
Nice.
And well, nice, big problem. I thought, I've got to find some money to get these made. So, and then luckily enough, through hard work, and obviously I had a lot of connections, we've grown massively in the last sort of 18 months. So we, getting into Sainsbury's, getting into Coles in Australia, Woolworths, Waitrose in the UK, but also part of our growth has been driven by Sainsbury's. We're part of their future brand program. So it's almost like an incubation. A number of the big retailers, Target are doing one at the moment, have these great incubation programs that where they're looking for premium brands, and they want to try and nurture them because they know their customers are willing to pay a premium price, but at an affordable positioning. So something that's a bit different from the ordinary in the marketplace. And that's really our niche that we've targeted. And so far today, it's been successful.
Excellent. So over the past, and so you've had a lot of activity over the past few months, we've had COVID and all that. So I'm guessing a lot of your activity, even before participating in our session, has been virtual.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's. I had one experience where, the last time I saw the buyers, probably a buyer was back in February, but mostly, you're probably going to see a buyer or talk to a buyer once or twice a year. So, and if you're reviewing or presenting a new product. So it's not been problematic, and actually I found the retailers, both bricks and mortar and online, have really reacted positively, and also they've been really helpful because the key thing that only buyers and manufacturers know is the difficulty in manufacturing is getting ingredients. Whilst everyone's in lockdown, you're trying to shift ingredients and products around the world, and it's really hard. And the long tail of the COVID thing is probably, I think, not going to impact until the coming months, where retailers had to refocus what they were doing and what they were ordering, which will cause a slight gap in that sort of period when, okay, we're not going to order that, but we're going to order this because we need it now. Then, because everyone wanted hand sanitizer. Yeah. Well, the people who make hand sanitizer are also making shampoo, hair products. So something's got to give. So, I think working during that period, it's been difficult for everyone, but we've managed to get through it, and everyone's been quite relaxed and really helpful in saying, okay, if you can't get that now, when can you get it? So, I mean, we actually, I had a funny call whereby the last meeting I had was with the skincare buyer of Sainsbury's, and she said, look, and I was presenting a skincare range that we're looking to launch. And then she rang me at the end of mid-September, rang me and said, oh, Paul, just going back to February, I love the skincare range. when could you get it to me? And what about November 1? And I went, well, we've been in lockdown and we had to push that one onto the back burner. So, when can you do it? So we're actually going to launch the new range in January of 2021. But that's still a hell of a lot of pressure building up towards Christmas and getting the samples and everything done.
Definitely. So how did you hear? Let's talk a little bit about your experience with the ECRM Connect platform. First of all, how did you find out about us? How did you get introduced to the program?
Well, it was back some time ago, probably 10 years ago, when I was previously at my previous company, where I actually did an ECRM program. I think I went down to Monaco and did that personal care program there. So what I decided to do from a sort of marketing strategy for the business was during the COVID period was, okay, you can sit here and you could keep your cash in the bank and, keep going that way, or you could try and slingshot your way out of it and really go for it. So I decided that now is the time to start marketing. And we'd had a lot of successes. So I knew that, it was probably 6-7 months ago, this year was meant to be a marketing year of driving awareness of the brand. And so I decided that come early September, that we were going to do a marketing push. And that's a combination of PR, MPD with the skincare range coming up, and re-looking at my own website and just getting everything in order. But then also investing in new business. And new business is something that I really like because I love meeting people. I like getting out and talking about the brand. And having done the ECRM thing, I thought, right, if we're going to do one thing, we've got to do it targeted. And I can't spend my time running around the country, you're not allowed to, or going overseas. So I thought this was an ideal opportunity in which to focus everything down into that intense week of 40 odd meetings, one after the other. And but it's really entertaining, really, really good. And fortunately from that, I think we'll pick up about 3 or 4 bits of business. We're in discussions now with about 7 mixture of distributors and retailers. And obviously we did win one piece of business there and then on the spot, which was Ideal World, which was great. And we actually went on television with them in the UK last Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And so the whole thing has just been, a rush from that. So really also the thing with the ECRM for me was it's, a dedicated, intense period in which you're getting to decision makers, and that's what you want. And I love the fact that it's 10 minutes, because if you can make an impression in 10 minutes, good or bad, and then they want to talk to you afterwards and you follow up, it's been worth it. So I'd highly recommend it to any brand, entrepreneur, brand, company looking at trying to expand their international network of sales as a way of at least starting, rather than say necessarily, cost effective wise. I used to go traveling around the world, go to, let's say, the USA, followed on by then the next week being Italy, then the following week being the Nordics. So if you can get it all into one intense week, then you get to meet those decision makers.
Tell me about your experience with the platform itself. How did you work with our team to kind of prep and make sure everything was ready? And then how did you use the platform itself? What functionalities did you like using? Okay,
so I'm not the most technically gifted guy in the world. And if I can use them, anyone can, right? So, but like all presentations or meetings, it's all about the preparation beforehand. And fortunately, I had Camille was my account manager, who walked me through everything. She taught me how to do it, talked me through it, bullied me into making sure my images, my presentations, my spreadsheet was done. And so I did it, and so I got all those up there, got the presentation down to a short piece, did a one tip I would give is I obviously everyone's got their big brand presentation. I then also added in a one-page summary presentation that just a buyer can get it just on one page, and then guided them to other things like films, whatever it is, the website. So preparation was key. So that was really good. I had everything ready in terms of samples. You have to keep checking. What was strange was, and I would say this to anyone else looking in, is you're waiting for the meeting schedule to be booked, and about 2 weeks beforehand there's nothing, right? And then suddenly you open it up the next day and there's like 45 meetings, and you're like, oh my god, So it's then planning and also spending the time beforehand. I went through everyone's websites, looked at the personnel details. So they're great. So you can see the buyer's details. You get there's a great piece about what they're looking for. So if they're not looking for something that you've got, but they've actually attached a meeting, question it. Should I have that meeting? Are you already in that country? Do you already have a distributor there? If you don't want to have that meeting, don't have that meeting. But at the same time, I think it's great because you always learn things about. Suddenly you'll find a distributor who has an amazing range of brands and connections, and vice versa, retailers who want to act direct with the brands, or position you with a consolidator or a distributor in that country. So it was all about the preparation and knowing what my strategy was. I knew I'm here to get new business, so sell your business to them and get to the point. That's the key thing. Ours is we've got a premium men's grooming range which is got momentum, so buyers are looking for something new that's exciting, that potentially is going to drive margins and category value. So there's a match. So so it's a great way to present. And of course, not every meeting's great, but most of them, I had 40 meetings and I had one technical difficulty, and we just came out and refreshed and caught up with each other on email afterwards.
So now, and actually that's a good point that you brought up, is, we're dealing with hundreds of Wi-Fis, hundreds of laptops, you're going to have something happen. Yeah. But the important thing is how fast and how well we react to it. So like you mentioned before, we have Camille and all of the other client success managers work very closely to get you all prepared. They give you a test run and all of that. But we also have a bunch of people on hand to make sure that they can address anything that might come up along the way, where you just hit that contact support button and somebody's in within seconds. So we want to, people tend to forget about the importance of the people part of the equation too. There's a lot of people involved behind the scenes, even though it's very high tech.
Oh yeah, and what I thought was amazing was during one of the conversations when we had this technical difficulty, a face popped up to say, "Yeah, I'm on it." Were you there? I didn't know you were there. So there's a whole support team around it, which was made the whole thing run exceptionally smoothly.
Yeah, we do have a team of people that are watching a dashboard, so they could see who's in the meetings, they could see what's going on, they could see if any red flags come up. But we also do observations where we'll just pop in meetings, not our face won't show up, we'll pop into meetings and observe just to make sure that everything's going okay. And if they hear something like you mentioned your sound was off, they'll jump into the meeting and say, look, this is what you could do to fix that problem. So they're very proactive about it, because that's the most important part, is that all the meetings happen. And if by some reason something happens that you just can't finish the meeting, we can reschedule the meeting. Yeah, so this way you don't miss it.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think a couple of other tips I learned during the piece was that I had a couple of buyers who had already been through my presentation, and they said, don't worry about presentation, love the product. Let's just have a chat for 10 minutes, get to know each other, because people are people and they want to buy other people and find out a bit about you as a person and your brand. And so that was good. And at the same time, if you met someone, what I did was, if there was someone, for some reason, there was no connection, it was almost like, well, there's no point sitting here for the next 5 minutes making small talk. Let's just cut it now. That'll give you time to go and get a cup of coffee before the next call. So, that's just be prepared you're going to have all sorts. The meetings themselves are no different to your usual going in to see someone who could potentially be buying your range. Therefore, just act the same.
Good. That's a great point. And you also brought up something that's very important on the buyer side. And I've had the privilege of talking to some buyers that are extremely well at preparing, because we always say it's important for the suppliers to prepare, which you obviously did. Like you mentioned, you researched who you were going to be meeting with in advance. But when buyers do that too, that's when you have those great conversations like that you just referred to. They already saw your slide deck. No need to present it. Let's have a conversation and see how we can work together and create value. That is gold. And that's where the prep on both sides is so very important.
Definitely.
So what about the tools themselves? Which tools did you use? Did you take notes? Did you rate the meetings?
I type with my elbows, so I tried. I did try and do a note thing, and I just thought, this is madness. What I think again, the learning that I had was the meetings go so fast. So you could, for instance, be meeting five to 10 buyers in an hour and a half period or whatever, and therefore it's very difficult to write notes. So what I did was just print out who the brand was, and I just wrote, whether it was V-Good or or send samples. That was it, because you haven't got much time to do. But given I'd already prepped on who they were, so I knew that I knew particular brands that they were already distributing and where ours would potentially fit or not with theirs. So I didn't use the notebook tools. I tended to use a pad, which I put to the side and just, talk, which is how I do things anyway. Yep.
Yeah. And we do have a lot of people that still prefer to write, especially if they're on their own. If there's a team of people.
That's a good thing. You've got someone else who could take the notes. That would be
exactly.
Brilliant.
So, but plenty of them still prefer pen and paper, but we want to make it so that whichever your preference is, we have something there for you. And then you could always go in and do your follow-ups from the platform as well.
Yes.
Great. So what's next for Mojo? Where are you going next? What's coming down the pipe?
Well, first of all, there's a small thing of Christmas in the way with COVID, but we have got a lot going on. One of the things we already export to Australia, so that means to get stuff there takes about 11 weeks. So a lot of shipping going on now, and promotions with the current retailers. The main focus is to follow up on the great meetings I had at ECRM. So my plan for that was to start the meetings now for new business, hopefully to fall into place from early 2021 onwards. But then I was absolutely delighted to win the award, because I didn't know there was one. And we're looking to launch in the USA next year at some point. So probably going to do ECRM in, I think it's June. We'll schedule for that, and looking forward to meeting US retailers and distributors. So that's the big plan. And we've also got a lot of marketing about to break and going on at the moment. And then new product wise, we've, as I mentioned earlier, we've got our skincare, 2 products, an anti-age moisturizer and an exfoliating face scrub, and they're going to come in the golden black pots as well. So everyone else in the category is in tubes, so we're going to do something a bit different again. And they launch in January, so are in getting made right now. So lots going on. And in amongst that, we'll probably have to raise some investment at some point in the coming year, just to maintain the growth and fund the growth, really. So
that's a good problem. That's a good problem to have.
Small plan, you know.
Well, that's good. And you bring up a good point, that now that you're looking to expand into the US, virtual kind of will make that a little bit easier to get started than if you had to fly over physically to the US.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was lucky enough to be asked in to meet Walmart in Bentonville. It was last year, and when I had to fly out from London via Dallas to Bentonville, arrived at 4 a.m. My suitcases were still in Dallas with the samples, with my clothes.
Oh,
fortunately, I'd sent some samples on in advance, but it was just one of those things. And then I thought I would, fly back that afternoon, and it really takes it out of you. So no, I think for the coming period to do the Zoom calls is great. We'll get the samples out to any buyers who want them. And, I think the other thing is what's good is about, the program is, particularly from, the stage that my brand's in. So we're in a lot of stores globally. So I think that gives confidence to the buyers, so they know that we're used to dealing with retailers. We know the programs of what goes on. So it's we're at a stage where we're trying to grow. They're looking for businesses that want to grow. So that's a really fundamental match that, it's not like it's like not starting on day one, with something that hasn't been tried and tested. We sell hundreds of thousands of units, and we've got marketing, we've got this, but we're still a private challenger brand. So that's, innovating the category. So that's something new. So that's hopefully what I bring to meeting with the buyers in the US in 2021.
Well, that's certainly what they're looking for. They like finding challenger brands that are going to fill in those niche areas and yep, and help grow the category. So, well, thank you so much. Again, congratulations on the Buyer's Choice Award win and the win with Ideal World. And I'm sure you're going to have several more wins from your meetings coming up shortly.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. And thanks for all the support at the ECRM and the award. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
Take care.